Hi, welcome to The Art of Yoga with Cat Justice, and this is session 7 in my Intro to Yoga series. So congratulations for making it this far. You're one from the end, penultimate episode. This is where all the cliffhangers happen. So in today's class, we are going to dive deeper into the more meditative and introspective aspects of yoga, but we're going to again continue to do that through the body. So we're going to do it somatically, we're going to do it with movement as well as with some moments of stillness. So you can start in any comfortable seated position that works for you. So that might be sitting in a chair, it might be sitting up on a cushion or some folded blankets, or just flat on the ground, however you're comfortable sitting. I like to sit when I'm doing a longer meditation practice rather than in a cross-legged pose, in what we call hero's pose. So if you've got some folded blankets or a yoga block or a firm pillow, that can be a really nice support in hero's pose. So you bring the folded blankets in between your feet, you bring your knees to touch, and you sit back onto the support this way. So this gives our body a little more support for that neutral spine, for just that relaxed natural spine with a little bit less pressure on the hips and the back. But if sitting this way doesn't feel good to you, feel free to go with whatever works for you. But I'm going to take hero's pose. So, or thunderbolt is the technical term for this one, Vajrasana. So you're going to let your arms rest on your lap. They can be palms up or palms down, whatever works for you. But go ahead and close your eyes. With your eyes closed, just starting to bring your awareness to the internal state. So a little bit of that pratyahara from last episode, that withdrawal of the senses. And feeling how your breath moves in your body. Feel that gentle expansion through the belly on the inhale, the softening through the exhale. Going back to that pranayama practice of diaphragmatic breathing. And as we build more focus and awareness on our breath, we're going to start to practice Dharana, which is a Sanskrit word meaning either concentration or single point of focus. And we're going to use that anchor, that single point of focus, to be our breath. So just really noticing the breath as it moves in and out of the body. Trying to slow the breath down, even it out. Either inhales and exhales are of equal length, or maybe you linger on the exhale a little bit longer. Feeling the breath moving through the belly, through the back, through the lower ribs, almost like a massage. Coming back to some of those core principles, santosha, contentment. Satya, truthfulness. Ahimsa, non-harming. And as you use that awareness of your breath to sort of cultivate that deeper internal state, you might be getting closer to the practice of dhyana, which is a deep connection with your internal state of contemplation, profound connection, state of integration, dhyana. And then opening your eyes. From here, we're going to take that internal focus, that deep internal state, And we're going to just gently transition into child's pose. If you want to use that support, I know we've done some restorative versions of child's pose, so if you've got some blankets or things and you want support under you, feel free to take it. Otherwise, just take the knees comfortably wide, let your body rest down, and let everything melt. Soften through the hips, let the weight of the body be heavy into the earth, but an effortless heaviness. So just let it soften, let it melt. Stay really deeply connected with your breath and your internal world. Inhale, rise up to hands and knees. Feel the ground under your hands, spread the fingers, and moving through cat and cow. Exhaling to round, inhaling to arch. And we've done these poses enough now that you can start to play with them a little bit. Again, starting to foster that deeper connection with your body. So as you move through cat and cow, maybe some signals from inside your body are telling you, hey, I want to make this movement slower. Or maybe I want to pause for a breath or two. I found a sweet spot, someplace that feels good. Feel free to pause, to just breathe into that. You can see what it would feel like to shift the hips forward slightly with the movement. See what that does. You can see what it would feel like to shift the hips back slightly with the movement. See how that feels. And as you play with cat and cow, just staying in that internal space, letting your internal world guide you. Let that breath be your focus, be your one point of focus, so that everything comes from the breath. The breath leads, the body follows. Inhale, come back to neutral. And along with that single point of focus, we're going to work on balancing. There's nothing that gets you into the present moment like trying to balance. So from here, you want to be far enough on your mat, forward on your mat, so that if you took your right leg back, tucked the toes, and gave yourself a little calf stretch, you could keep your foot on your mat. So from here, you're going to reach through the right leg, but rather than just pushing back like a calf stretch, you're going to think about that right heel lifting up towards the sky without lifting the foot. Just give a little lift to the heel and feel how when you do that, how you automatically have less weight on your left hand. So that's a really good thing. So maybe this is where you practice your balance. You keep the foot on the ground, you just feel that little lift and that lightening of the weight on the left hand. Maybe you reach forward through that left arm. Maybe you keep everything steady and lift through the right heel. Whatever version you're taking, or you can keep the hand down and just lift through the leg. That's another great option. Just finding your breath, feeling that little wake up through the core, through the belly. And then exhale, bring it back down. And we'll take the other side. Left toes tuck under, the foot slides back. But again, rather than pushing into the heel, think of lifting through the heel. Feel how when the heel gets that lifting energy without even lifting the foot, how you have less weight on your right hand. And then you can decide where you want to go from there. Maybe you reach just through the arm, maybe just through the leg, or arm and leg together. Breathing here. Again, keep your awareness on your internal state. Exhale, gently lower down and take it back to child's pose. Any tension that's crept up into the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, the back, let child's pose just wash it out. And then reaching forward, tuck the toes. And this time we'll lift all the way up into downward facing dog. As you come into down dog, maybe you want to keep your knees bent. Stay connected to the breath. Try and keep your hips pulling away from your hands. Let your head just gently rest down. You can nod the head or shake the head, loosen the neck. Maybe you want to see what it feels like to walk your feet in place a little bit, bending one knee and then the other. So we'll call it walking your dog, or like you're pedaling a bicycle. And then you're just going to let that walking motion eventually come in to a forward fold. So you just keep walking up to your hands. The knees are going to bend, let your body melt down. Your head hangs free. Let everything be soft. Maybe you want to sway side to side a little. Loosen things up. And from the forward fold, you're going to bend your knees nice and deep. Push through your feet. On an inhale, keep breathing, rolling on up. Circle through the arms. And then exhale, hands back to the heart. Finding mountain pose. Let's start with the feet right next to each other. So go ahead and step the feet in so you have that narrow stance. And feel that natural shifting of weight forward and back, left and right. Find the four corners of your feet. You imagine you've got roller skates on. Find the little wheels. And then close your eyes. Once again, reconnect to your breath. Find that rhythm. Opening through the eyes, we're going to come into chair pose. You're going to sit back through the hips, reach through the arms. The arms can be up by your ears or they can be straight forward if that's more comfortable for your shoulders. You just want to make sure that you can see your feet in front of your knees, that your knees aren't covering your feet. So we sit back through the hips. We've got that little bit of strength through the belly. From here, we're going to step back into warrior one. Left foot steps back, plant the foot, and the arms reach up overhead. You're going to bend that front knee until you can just see the big toe. Feel the strength through that grounding through the corners of the feet. From here, go ahead, interlace your hands, and then release the pointer fingers. From there, we call these like little Charlie's Angels yoga hands, reaching on up. You can stay gazing forward, or if you want, take your gaze slightly up. Again, we're thinking about that single point of focus, that concentration. So sometimes where we put our gaze helps to keep our body focused. From here, we're going to move into a balance, into warrior three. Shift your weight forward slightly. Keep your body long. Think about an inclined plane, like a coin could roll from your fingertips all the way down to your back heel. And then we're going to launch off. So maybe you want to stay here and just think less weight on that back foot. You can stay with that, or you might have to, if you're me, you're about to run into your closet door, step back a little bit, but you're going to come into a balance. If here as you come into warrior three, into this balance, it's too wobbly, just try taking your hands to your hips. That will help with the balance. You want to square off the hips so that they're pointing straight down if possible. Feel your focus. On an exhale, slowly reach through the heart as you lower through that back foot. Rebend the front knee. Find warrior one. And then exhale, step it to the top of the mat. Mountain pose. Recalibrate, reground. Inhale, chair pose. Utkatasana. Fierce pose is another name for it. From here, shift the weight to the left and slowly step the right foot back. Find warrior one. You're going to find that big toe to the inside of the left knee. You're going to ground through your roller skate wheels. From there, take the hands into that interlaced, release the pointer fingers. If you want to be extra detailed, maybe switch the cross of the hands to the way that feels weird. And reach on up. You can look forward or slightly up. Just make sure your neck is comfortable. Exhale, angle the body forward slightly. Find that inclined plane. Feel free to stay here, or just lighten the weight on the back leg, or find warrior three. Focus, balance, woo! Hands can be long, or they can come to the hips. On an exhale, reach forward with the heart. Slowly lower the back leg. Inhale, warrior one. And exhale, mountain at the top of the mat. Feet together, hands at the heart, close the eyes. Reconnect. And opening the eyes, go ahead, step the left foot back for warrior two. Feet line up, heel to arch. Bend through the front knee, float the arms like they're floating on the surface of water. Soften through the shoulders. On an inhale, we're going to take it into a reverse triangle. The left arm drops down, right arm lifts up and over, but we're going to straighten through the front leg. As we find reverse triangle, feel all that openness through your waist, your rib cage, and you're going to try and keep that length so that you're tipping your body from the pelvis. Exhale, take the right hand to the leg. Left hand can stay at the hip, or it can come to the heart, or it can reach up to the sky. Lots of options. Either way, we're going to think about making that big triangle shape with the body, from the feet to the top hand. Notice if you're rounding or collapsing through that bottom side. See if you can create length, kind of draw deeper into the crease of the hip. Notice if you locked out your front knee, think about giving it a little bit of bend, an invisible bend. Unlock it. Bend through the front knee. Inhale, rise it back up to warrior two. And then exhale, step forward back to mountain pose, and we'll take the other side. Shift to the left foot. Inhale, right foot steps back. Heel to arch alignment in the feet. Bend through the front knee and float the arms. Let your shoulder blades settle. And then inhale, reverse triangle. Left palm flips. Straighten through the leg. Right arm drops down. Feel all that delicious opening through the left waist to the left ribs. Turning from the pelvis. Exhale, keep long through that left side. So you take the left arm to the leg, right hand to the hip, the heart, or the sky. Trikonasana, triangle pose. There's 3 triangles our body makes here. I feel like Sesame Street. Can you find them? Make sure the knee is unlocked. Still focusing on the breath. Bend through the front knee like you're going to scoop back up. Inhale, warrior two. And exhale, mountain at the top of the mat. From here, we're going to take one more balance. We're going to move into tree pose. So shifting the weight over onto your right foot. You can take your left foot. We've got 3 options. You can keep the toes on the ground and just bring the foot to the inner ankle, or you can lift to bring the foot up to the inner calf, or skip the knee, bring the foot up to the inner thigh. So it really doesn't matter, any of those 3 spaces. I'll do mine on that second one, below the knee, inner calf. From there, take the hands to the heart. So with that single point of focus, it often helps to literally have a single point of focus when we balance, meaning look at one thing and make that one thing that you look at something that doesn't move. So try not to pick me on the screen. You might want to look elsewhere in your room, find that single point to focus your gaze on. Feel your tree trunk, that standing right leg, grow really strong. Imagine you've got roots that kind of grow into the earth that are as big and as wide as you are. If you lose your balance, doesn't matter, just come back in. And then we've got these really delicious light branches. Maybe you want to express them through your hands. The arms are light, they're soft, like a tree, they could move in the wind. We've got our nice strong rooted trunk. That's going to hold us steady. And then exhale, slowly come on down, and we'll shift over to the left leg for the other side. Doesn't have to look the same. Again, you can bring the foot just with that little kickstand on the ground, toes on the ground to the inner ankle. You can bring it up to the inner calf, or skip the knee, bring it up to the inner thigh. Wherever the foot is, you want to feel that nice, strong tree trunk of a leg. Imagine your roots. Soften through the shoulders, the arms. You're going to feel your ankle making these little micro adjustments with your balance. That's a good thing. Sometimes people think that means they're bad at it. That's a good thing. That's the advanced balance strategy, is to use the ankle. Very advanced. You can stay there. You can add in your branches. You can let the leaves rustle in the wind. And then exhale. Go ahead and come back down. Hands to the heart. From here, separate your feet hip distance apart. Take the hands to the hips. On an inhale, we're just going to lift our heart up to the sky. On an exhale, sit back through the hips, hinging back. Let your body pour down into a forward fold. And then from the forward fold, go ahead, step it all the way back to downward facing dog. Relax the head. From down dog, inhale, come forward for plank pose. Feel the front of the body engage, pushing the floor away. Front of the body meaning your thighs, your belly, your heart. And then exhale, knees, chest and chin gently lower down. And we'll inhale for just a little bit of a belly sequence. So from here, hands are under the shoulders, pull the hands back like your hands are going to pull towards your feet. Reach through the toes, just a little lengthening of the heart. Cobra pose. And then exhale, soften it down, make a pillow with the hands, let your head rest down. Then just let your hips sway side to side. You can stay with Cobra, or if you want, bring your arms down at your sides for Samabhasana, Locust Pose. The hands are at the sides, thumbs down, pinkies up. You're going to lengthen through the body, reach through the toes, reach through the crown of the head. As you lift slightly through the arms, notice if you're trying to lift through your hands, and then see if you can, rather than lifting through the hands, lift through the shoulders. So the hands should be lower than your shoulders. That way we're going to get more opening through the heart. But really the focus of locust is to lengthen. Create length. Stay with the breath. And then exhale again, make a little pillow for the forehead and rest on down, taking the hips side to side. One last variation here. You can stay with that last arm position, or if you want, interlace your hands behind the back. Roll the shoulders, and again, lift from the heart, lengthen the body. I was thinking locust, if I imagine that I'm flying, the pose is instantly easier. Exhale, gently soften down. This time take the hands under the shoulders, lift from the hips, rise it on up, and ease your way back to child's pose. And then from child's pose, we're going to come on up to seated. So if you want some support under your hips, you can come to a cross-legged position, but if your knees are kind of hunched up towards your shoulders, it's good to have some support under you. So grab a folded blanket or some cushions, something, or do these poses in a chair. That works too. But you're going to come to a cross-legged position where your knees can soften. There, they can settle down where your back feels comfortable. From here, go ahead and think about balancing heart over hips, head over heart. Nice upright, aligned spine. And we're going to come back to the breath, back to that internal awareness. So go ahead, close your eyes. Withdraw the senses. Connect to the breath. And use that focus on your breathing as a way of cultivating deeper understanding of your body, of the present moment, of your internal experience. That's yoga meditation. And now you're going to open your eyes and we're going to let that meditation move us. So you can take the right hand down to the ground, inhale, the left arm just briefly is going to come up and over to feel that opening through the rib cage, and then we're going to allow this to take us right into the twist. Back of the left hand to the outside of the right knee, gently twisting round. Deepening the breath. Deepening that awareness of your internal state. Exhale, gently unwind. From here, switch the cross of the legs so the other foot is in front. And plant the left hand down. Inhale, right arm up and over again, just briefly to get that opening through the ribs, and let that opening take you into the twist. Back of the hand to the outside of the knee. Left hand comes behind. Soften through the shoulders. Soften through your hips. Feeling the breath moving in and out, and doing what you can, making those little micro adjustments to create more comfort in the pose. And exhale, gently unwind. From here, go ahead and take the legs straight forward. Paschimottanasana, or forward fold, lifting from the hips. And if from here you're like, lifting from the hips, they are not lifting, then you're just good. Just hang out where you are, get some support under your hips maybe, or even just lean back into your hands. This can be your forward fold. Or if your hamstrings are tight, maybe bend your knees and that'll help. But either way, we're going to come forward however far we can without letting the back collapse. So we're going to keep that sort of round, or the lengthening through our spine, staying long through the front of the spine as well as the back. Shoulders away from the ears. Notice if your head is dropping way down, and bring your head so it lines up with the rest of your body. You can imagine like a coin could kind of roll down your neck and down through your tailbone without any big bumps. Inhale, rise it back up. And then we're going to exhale to come all the way onto our backs. However's comfortable for you to get there. Go ahead, hug your knees to your chest. And then from your back, go ahead and place your feet down on the ground, arms at your sides. And we're just going to roll up and down the spine a couple of times as we flirt with bridge pose. So the feet are pressing down through the four corners of your feet. You're going to scoop the tailbone under on an inhale, lift through the hips, vertebra by vertebra. On an exhale, gently roll back down. Think of this as like a massage for your spine. Rolling on up. Let the inhale lift you up. Let the exhale take you down. Or if you prefer, again, since we're going into that deep internal state, maybe your body is giving you some other signals. Maybe your body is saying, hey, I want to take 3 breaths to roll up. I want to take 3 breaths to roll down. That's fine. As long as you're tuning into the breath, let the breath lead the movement. You can't go wrong. Wherever you're at, the next time you rise up to bridge, holding at the top, just plant the feet, reach your knees away from your hips. You can keep your arms at your sides, or if it feels natural, to just walk your shoulders under and interlace your hands underneath you. Feel free. Try to avoid turning your head left or right. Our neck is in a little bit of a vulnerable position here. Breathe and open through the front of the body. And then exhale, gently release. As you come on down, let your arms open to your sides, palms facing up, and then we're going to scoot our hips over to the right. So you just lift the hips up, scoot them over, and then exhale, let your knees roll to the left. And the knees can stay separated or they can stack, whatever's more comfortable. You just want to make sure that your right shoulder stays on the ground. So if the right shoulder is lifting away from the ground, that's a lot of tension in our neck. If that's happening, lift your knees. Right shoulder's on the ground, but we can turn our head however it wants to turn. Right, left, anywhere in between. From here, go ahead and close your eyes. And again, we're going to drop deep into that internal state, noticing what's happening in your body from the inside out. Feeling the breath. Letting the breath improve the comfort of the pose. Let it help you feel better inside your body. And then gently bring the legs back up. Scoot your hips back to midline, and then scoot them over to the left. From there, let the knees roll to the right. And again, they can be separated or together. Just make sure now that that left shoulder stays on the ground, that it's not tensing up. Turn your head however it wants to turn. Close your eyes. And sense this pose from the inside out. Maybe noticing where is the stretch the deepest? What part of your body has the most sensation right now? Where's the pose living? And see if you can direct your breath into those areas. Feeling the body open on the inhale, soften on the exhale. Using the breath to delve deeper into that connection to your inner state of being. And then slowly bring the legs back up. Scoot the hips back to midline. Give your knees one last little hug into your chest. If it feels good to rock, feel free to rock. And we'll move into Shavasana, our final relaxation pose. If you want some support for under your knees, again, feel free to grab a blanket or some pillows. You can tuck them under the knees for a little bit more support for your back. Arms at your sides. If palms facing up feels good, that's a nice way to keep that opening across the heart going. And from here, allow your body to sink, melt, and soften into the floor. Making any little adjustments you need to find your comfort. Once you're there, reconnect to the movement of your breath. See if you can really soften, really relax through the upper back, the shoulders. Let those inhales dive down into the belly. As you stay focused and aware of your breath, using that awareness as just that anchor to the present moment, to your internal experience. It's natural for the mind to wander. That's okay. Every time it does, you just gently bring it back to your anchor, back to the movement of the breath. It's not a bad thing for the mind to wander. It just gives you another opportunity to strengthen those mindfulness muscles, to strengthen that ability to bring it back to the moment. We practice mindfulness here on the mat. We practice this yoga meditation so that then in our daily life, if our mind starts to run away with us, we've strengthened those muscles with the ability to calm it, to bring it back in, to stay present, to stay alive. And as always, you can stay here in Shavasana as long as you want. Pause the video, bliss out. But if you feel ready to rejoin the land of the living, you can slowly wiggle fingers and toes, ankles and wrists, little movements, just gradually growing and stretching into any kind of organic moving your body is craving. Eventually, knees come to hug in. Never sitting right up. You always roll to one side. Give your body time. Give it that little transition, the rebirth. And as you're ready, Coming back up to seated. And thank you so much for practicing with me today. Thank you so much for staying with me through this series. We've got one more to go. And, spoiler alert, the last limb of yoga is pretty awesome. So you don't want to miss it. So stay tuned for the final video, which should be out soon. Thank you so much. Namaste.